All right. Thanks everyone for joining. It is third edition OPR, and we are playing some Grimdark here. I had one of my friends. Um, we just haven't, I haven't got a chance to play some Grimdark Future, and I've been really missing it. So we're glad we got a chance to start off the weekend with a 5,000 point battle report. I'm loving these higher point levels. I think 5,000, as you're going to see, runs great. It's yeah, it's a great point level. So going to the game, it's 5,000 points. We only have three objectives, so that's going to be an interesting match. Just to have all these troopers fighting over such small amount of objectives. We're just playtesting a new edition. So yeah, it's our first game of the 3.0. And the other thing is he's a 40k player, so he does like stratagems and command points. So what we did is we did the command rerolls. I think it's a great thing to just fit into 40k players. The more I play it, I actually like OPR with command rerolls. I think it provides a little bit more consistency. Ironically, in this game, we failed most of our rerolls, but that's okay. I don't remember all the rerolls that we passed or failed, but most of our rerolls on both of our sides, when we used them, they failed. So didn't affect the game that too much either. So yeah, let's look at the list. So I'm at 5,000 points. I'm running an Elven Noble. She's on a bike. She's got stealth on her. She's got the shield field upgrade, which I really like for 20 points, and she's a caster. Excuse me. Then we have an Elven Noble. He's got an energy spear, and he's running as a scorpion. So this is Carandrus. Two storm squads with rending weapons and power weapons. We've got a Dire Avenger squad, three of them all loaded out with dire swords, sharp pistols, and carbines. Banshee squad with dual mirror swords. That's two of them. Two spiders. One spider squad. Just base. We've got two scorpion squads that we've given those dual energy swords to. We've got two reaper squads. One of them has the swarm missiles, and the other one has the shot missiles. So one of them is the anti-infantry sort of thing. The other one is the anti-deadly with triple deadly there. So for my opponent, he's got double storm leaders. He's got the take aim, which is I think almost standard these days for human defense force. He's got a 20-man infantry squad that he's added mortars to. He's also have some grenade launchers. So this is a blast heavy squad. And he's going to try to use that with take aim. Two weapons team also with mortars. He's got a veteran squad that he's got with drum rifles. So he's got the rending on them. He's got an energy sword upgrade. Both of the veteran squads are built the same. They also have grenade launchers, and they've got the +1 defense. A veteran squad. He's got three veteran squads, and they're all armed the same, all with drum rifles for close range, and all of them with grenade launchers, and all of them with an upgrade for the sergeant with an energy sword, and all of them with heavy armor. He's got two armored trucks that he's loaded out with some volley guns, light Gatlings, and some storm rifles. So this is really just volume of fire here on these light trucks. He's got two battle tanks, and they're armed with the commander double time upgrade, which is really nice. He's got a battle cannon, and then he's got machine guns basically on them. Two light walkers. He's given them protected, and they have scout, and he's given them just their stock heavy flamer. He's got a heavy battle tank. So this is again just a battle cannon. And then just a lot of so he's kind of got his battle cannon for blast, and he's got his heavy machine guns, which I like. I like a lot of the AP1 heavy machine guns. They fit pretty well. And he's got a super heavy tank that we were going to put some sponsons on, but I think there was a problem with the builder. But I think it's fine just where it is. He's upgraded them with a 21 transport, so he's going to put his I think he didn't want his 20-man infantry squad. He wanted to protect them, so he has them in that super heavy. And it's got a Lord Cannon, which is a really great. That 18-inch lock-on is terrific. And then some heavy machine guns. So really like that Lord Cannon on him. All right, this is just my army. Pretty straightforward. The jet bikes, the Banshees, the Dire Avengers. Going forward here. All right, some more Scorpions, some Banshees, and the 2 Dark Reaper squads in the back. And then you have Karandras and the jet bike in the center. All right, that's just my jet bikes. I think it's just some close-ups for his army. So going from left to right, we've got the heavy battle tank. We've then got the super heavy battle tank. He's got 2 chimeras. Those are just the battle tanks. So we're doing a little bit of proxying. We wanted to try 5,000. So here he's basically proxying those chimeras for Leman Russes. He's got his 2 light walkers, and then below those kind of smaller tanks that are thinner, those are his trucks. In the back, he's got the missile launchers and the mortars. He's just running them. So he's got some that are missile launchers and last cannons and autocannon. He's running just both of those squads as mortars, just so you know. He then has his 20-man squad in the center, bottom right. And then he's got his 3 10-man squads of veterans on the bottom left going up. And then he's just got his 2 leaders as well that are in the front. Let's just look at this super heavy battle tank. It's really nice. Wanted to just show another picture of that. It's just some other close-ups of his army. Yeah, just some more close-ups. I even like his heavy battle tank as well. And then, just the white. I'll be referring them to the white and the orange. So both of them are armed similarly, but since both of them have the command upgrade, they're going to be moving stuff around. So I'll try to keep up with that. I did miss it a couple of places, but just keep in mind if I miss it, there may be times you see something moved 6 inches and you're like, it's just because he did double time on them. All right, so the setup. So far as setup, we've got we've set it up so that we've got kind of 3 sections. We've got kind of a industrial center here towards the top right, and then we've got kind of some destroyed battlefield towards the middle, and then on the far left we've got another destroyed battlefield, and then there. So that's just the overview of the battlefield. So you have to remember that I did a pretty important role on my part. I did get a chance to place 2 of the objectives, and that's big for me this game because what I did is I knew he outranged me, and I have a short-ranged army, so I wanted to put 2 of these objectives really close to each other. So he put his objective. Now we didn't pick sides, but he was basically saying, well, I'm going to keep one of these objectives on the far side. So he put his on the top left, and he actually got that side. And then I put mine both in the center, and I put them really towards a corner. So what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to condense the battlefield. If I spread these objectives out too much, he's really going to be able to move in, grab them, and then use his long-range firepower to contest others. So doing that, basically both of our squads set up really close. You can see both of us set up pretty heavy. He does have some of his squads towards the center, and he's got his 2 walkers that he scouted up. You can see I've got my Scorpions, and I've got my Storm Guardians there to scout up as well. That's just my other Scorpion. I did get the role to go first, so I do aggressively place that other Scorpion squad. I am going to charge that veteran squad that you see close to the objective. The plan is that if I can, although I'm not planning to get that objective, if I can force him to commit resources there, it's going to force stuff away from the other 2. So doing that actually forced him to place both of his heavy walkers on the far, on my far left. So yeah. All right, that's just another picture of the battlefield. I am going first, so it's turn 1. Turn 1, I just send one of my Scorpion squads into his veteran squad. I kill them. I don't kill them, but I kill enough of them. And then, no, I think I actually just kill them to a man. Yeah, I roll pretty good, and he doesn't roll great armor saves. And I just kill them to a man, and they consolidate into cover. He then moves up his heavy tank. He wants to try to, again, his stuff is pretty bunched up there, so he wants to give himself some space. So he pushes this heavy tank up, shoots my Storm Guardians, and kills them. In response, I saw that he has one of his veteran squads close in striking range, so I send my other Scorpion squad. We hit the other veteran squad. We kill 8 of them. I don't think if he kills anything, but I do. He fails his morale, and then I am able to consolidate. And that's really good. that I was able to pick up one of those veteran squads without him having a second take aim. In response, he moves up his white tank and he shoots at my scorpions. In addition to that, he also moves up the super heavy tank with double time. And then he shoots and puts some wounds on the scorpions. My Dire Avengers, they move up and they shoot the battle tank and do 2 wounds. So this is the heavy battle tank and do 2 wounds on him. Excuse me. The mortars shoot and they kill a few of the scorpions, so they're down to 7 now. The heavy jet bike moves up and shoots at the truck, taking him down to 2 wounds. The heavy walker moves up and shoots the scorpions again with his flamer, kills another 2 of them. The heavy jet bike in response moves up and shoots that walker that's on the bottom middle and does 1 wound on the walker. It's just the 1 wound on him. The mortars move up. So the truck shot the scorpions, and now the mortars shoot more of the scorpions, take them down to 4, but they are passing their morale. Those more again, the cover. I am getting +1 defense on the cover, not for the mortars. So those scorpions are holding their own, and the big thing is, I expect them to die, but they're just tanking firepower. My banshees just walk up and they use their pistols to shoot the tank. They do a wound into the tank. The truck moves up and shoots the banshees, kills 2 of them. The Avengers, the Red Dire Avengers, move up and shoot the tank. They do another 3 wounds on the tank. That's the heavy tank. The tank that's the orange tank, moves up and shoots the scorpions and kills some more of them. And I believe he uses his double time on the mortars. So the scorpions in the center are getting whittled down as well. This is another thing that's crazy. So my Dark Reapers, they're on the bottom right. They move up and they have lock on. So even with cover, I shoot his super heavy. I hit all 3 times. It's AP3. He needs 3 5s and he rolls 3 5s. So that could have been 9 damage that he saved. So it's pretty cool. At this point, it isn't shown, but he has an infantry squad in the super heavy, and he gives that super heavy +1 to hit with the take aim ability. So that's in the top left. The Avengers, the White Dire Avengers, move up and they shoot the truck, and that's 4 wounds. That's enough to kill it. The infantry squad shoot the scorpions, killing more. I think they're getting down to like 4. So, and they do pass their morale, but those scorpions are getting thinned out. But at the same time, those scorpions, both of my scorpion squad, being in cover for some of it, are basically absorbing a lot of firepower. So my jet bikes, they move up and then they shoot the heavy battle tank. They do another 5 wounds on, and it actually wavers that super heavy that heavy battle tank, and that heavy battle tank only has 15, so it only has 4 wounds left. The super heavy then moves up and shoots the scorpions and the jet bikes. So I think it really takes the scorpions pretty low, and it kills. Now it only shoots a couple of wounds into the a small amount of shots into the scorpions. It mainly focuses its firepower into the jet bikes. And yeah, that lock-on cannon is great, and it kills 2 jet bikes. So yeah, that's a pretty nasty thing. The banshees just rush up, try and get behind the building. The second walker moves up and shoots and flamers the scorpions, taking them down to a single one. So there's 1 scorpion left. He does pass his morale. So those scorpions have tanked a lot of damage, and they took a lot of these shots in cover. So that +1 defense is just... and they've rolled some decent armor saves, but those scorpions have just tanked a lot of shots. The Reapers move up and they shoot the heavy walker, doing 3 damage on it, but it passes its morale. The mortars in the back shoot at the Reapers. That's the Reapers that have the deadly. You could see. So the mortars in the top right shoot the bottom right Reapers, but miss them. That's just kind of an overview of the battlefield. You can kind of see. I've actually grabbed that top left objective temporarily, and it's plans working. Actually, those scorpions. I did roll some good armor saves, and those scorpions they've just tanked a lot of damage. And then on the right side of the battlefield, I've just really pushed up. I've grabbed that objective on that little information pole, and I've also grabbed that orange objective in the center. So he's also though pushing up, but me wavering that super heavy has really helped me. It's kept them back. All right, turn 2. All right, so I'm just dropping my spiders in. I do get to go first. That's my ambush. And yeah, I charged the super heavy. Now that is the caster, so she also casts -1 to hit on the super heavy as well. So at that point, I charged super heavy. I think I do like 11 wounds. So I roll. I think I hit with a lot of it. He didn't make a lot of his saves, and I think I ended up doing 11 wounds. Now that is like 4 guys hitting him, and 2 of those lances are AP4. So it is. I think he only saved 1 of those saves. It was 2 4-ups and 2 6-ups. And so he takes both of the AP4s, saves 1 of the AP2s, and then my leader with his AP4 spear does 2 more damage onto him. So it's 11 wounds. That's already almost half, so that's great. At this point, the infantry squad, they move up. You can see that the shield, that's the super heavy's -1 to hit. And then he gives... Remember, on the previous turn, he had given the super heavy +1 to hit. So that's it. They move out, and they give themselves +1 to hit this turn. They shoot the scorpions, and they shoot the jet bikes. I think the scorpions are down to like 2 now. But again, a lot of his grenade launchers miss. He's got a lot of blast in this army, and he hasn't been great with the blast so far. But he does do some damage to both, takes the scorpions down to 2, and takes the jet bikes down pretty low as well. Now, the jet bikes are also in cover. The Banshees charge the truck. They do 2 wounds on the truck. Now, the command tank, that's the white one. That's in the middle, the white one. It uses its double time to move the super heavy back 6 inches. And then it shoots at the jet bikes. It kills 1 more of them. You can see the jet bikes are already getting kind of whittled down. And there's like 1 wound left. So that's just that. At that point, the Banshees charge that veteran squad in the trenches. So they have Strider. Yeah, I kill the veteran squad, and then the Banshees move up. And you can already see, it was a bad angle, so I wasn't able to get a lot of the shots. But the Scorpions are just down to the leader and 1 Scorpion. So the Scorpions have taken some shots, but they've also... they've absorbed some damage, but they're getting low. Excuse me. So the orange command tank, what he actually does is he needs to free up some room. So he actually double times the super heavy up 6 inches. He shoots at the Banshees. He shoots at the Banshees, killing some. That's in the trenches. He shoots at some of the Banshees, killing some. Seeing my Scorpions not long for this world, my leader, we charge the super heavy. We do 2 wounds. That takes him up to like, I think 13. Forces a morale, which he passes. But now that super heavy is below 50%. So every wound I put on it, it's going to have a morale. The light blue Dire Avengers, they shoot the heavy tank, but they don't cause any damage. They also just move up. He moves up and shoots the jet bike and the Banshees. That's his other tank. And shooting some and killing both the Banshees. So he kills more of the jet bikes and he wavers the Banshees. The mortars, so he actually has a good roll he rolls 2 out of 3 hits with the mortars. That's the mortars on the top right. He hits my Reapers in the back and kills all 3 of them. So that's pretty good on those mortars. That's those mortars on the top right. The single Scorpion. So remember, this guy's below 50. He's below 50% health. So again, if I can do a single wound, I can actually just remove this super heavy. But he charges, does 1 wound, but the super heavy again passes his morale. So the walker basically the wounded walker moves up and shoots the single scorpion, killing him. The red Dire Avengers, they move up and they shoot the truck. They do. They basically take it down to 1 wound, and that does waver the truck. But immediately the truck then unwavers. So the red Avengers move up. They shoot the truck. They waver it. The red truck. I mean, the truck in the top right immediately unwavers. So keep that in mind. The spiders then move up. They have their teleport and then 6 inches, and they shoot the walker that's fresh. And they just kill it. It's like, 10 AP4 hits. So the walker's dead. The mortar shoots the spiders. They hit once and kill 1 spider. The Dire Avengers move up and they shoot the wounded walker that only has 2 wounds left. And they kill it. The Reapers then move up and they shoot the mortars. They do like 6 wounds, kill 2 of them, and they do waver the mortars. The heavy tank there it unwavers. I'm sorry. The Dire Avengers, the blue Dire Avengers actually did do a few more wounds into the heavy tank. I'm sorry about that. It's at 2 wounds left. That's when the Dire Avengers, they moved up and they shot it. They actually did I think they did like 2 or 3 more wounds. But it's at 14 wounds, but it did unwaver. All right. So it's 1 wound left. At that point, the heavy jet bike moves up and shoots and finishes off the tank with 1 wound left. The other heavy jet bike moves up and shoots, but it fails to wound the super heavy. That's just the end of the battlefield. So a good second turn for me. I've really cleared out. I think the big MVP so far this game have been the Scorpions. The Scorpions and the Banshees, who basically killed something and then just absorbed a lot of fire, just sticking them in cover. And the Banshees too. The Banshees get wavered. Both my Scorpion squads are decimated. 1 is killed, and my Banshees are also decimated and wavered. But those 3 squads have absorbed a lot of firepower. Now I've taken other casualties with my Dire Avengers, but this turn those squads just tanked a lot of damage. It's just another picture here, and you can see some of my squads have taken some damage, but and also the jet bikes, the Banshees, and the Scorpions have just absorbed a lot of damage, and that's left a lot of my army relatively unwounded. Now I would say, like I said, he actually has not rolled great with his blast. He has a lot of blast in his army, and he's tended not to hit with it. So, all right, turn 3. So he gets to go first. His super heavy already had +1 to hit. It moves up and it shoots at the spiders and the Avengers. It kills the spiders and kills like 5 of the Avengers and wavers the Avengers. My jet bikes basically then charged super heavy. So you can see it's now at 17 wounds. So I've consistently put enough wounds on it. I do 7 wounds. I think I do 8 wounds with here, just enough to kill it. So super heavy's dead. The 20-man infantry squad gives itself +1 to hit, and then shoots the Banshees, taking them down to 3, and it also shoots the Scorpions, and I think it takes the remaining Scorpion down, and then takes the leader down, another wound. But yeah, the remaining 3 Banshees then charge the truck. All I have to do is 1 wound, so they kill the truck, and then they consolidate closer. The tank, actually, so that's the orange tank moves up the infantry squad. So I didn't want to, the infantry squad shot first, so it didn't have to get minuses for its mortars. And it then moves up the infantry squad. It itself moves up with double time, and it moves up and it shoots the Avengers. But actually fails to wound any. I think it's with cover and stuff. He doesn't do a great job. Just a really bad wound. At that point, the Avengers move up. That was the red Avenger. So some bad rolling on his part, and I think he hit some, but I just had good saves. But yeah, it was pretty crazy that. So basically, my red Avengers move up. They shoot at the fire, and they kill a good many of those infantry squad. So that's those Avengers just shooting. The mortars shoot, and they kill 1 Avenger. So they hit once, and I save 2 out of the 3. The remaining, so that's the wounded. As you can see, that infantry squad also shot the Scorpions and took the leader down to 1. It then charged the tank. I'm trying to just waver the tank. I do 1 wound, but the tank, the tank passes his morale. And you can see those Banshees are pretty wounded as well. The tank then moves up and it shoots the Avengers. It actually kills, so I guess it makes up for the other one because it rolls great. Kills 7 of those Avengers, and they do pass their morale. So, the heavy jet bike then moves up to grab the objective. That's in the far left. And it shoots at the infantry squad, kind of on the other side, with cover. And it kills a few more of them, so I'm just whittling down that squad. The mortar squad unwavers. The Dire Avengers unwaver here on the left. And the Banshees unwaver. Finally, just the jet bike moves up and it shoots at the infantry squad more. It actually takes them below 50%. So that's just that. And that wavers. I'm sorry. And then the Dark Reapers move up and they shoot the remaining mortar, and that kills it as well. And then the Avengers move up. The heavy jet bike shot, but it wasn't below 50%. So the Avengers then move up and shoot the infantry squad. That takes it below 50%, and that does waver the infantry squad. So on turn 3, I've actually pushed him off his objective with my jet bike. It's grabbed it. And I've also pushed him off the other 2. He does have those 2 fresh tanks that are basically unwounded, but my goal is basically just to keep him away from the objective at this point. But I've also taken a lot of casualties myself. Basically, all the squads over there are all almost dead. You can see most of them are heavily decimated. Both of the Banshee squads are at 3 or 4. There's just my Carandrous left at the top right. Both of my Dire Avenger squads have been taken pretty low. So pretty heavy casualties on the right. Me wavering, though, that big infantry squad, though, really helped me out, though. So yeah, I've taken a lot of casualties myself. I think I've just been able to push him away from those objectives. That's been the key. All right, turn 4. So he gets to go first. So he moves up that's the white tank, and he double times the orange tank. So just to keep that in mind. And just so you know, we're playing a little loose with the terrain. He runs a lot of tanks, so anytime we want the tank to move somewhere, we just kind of move a terrain, or we just destroy a terrain. We kind of view, especially some of these minor pieces of terrain, we view them also the tanks basically just run over them. So that's how we're playing it. We didn't want to kind of screw him by saying your tanks can't move places. We didn't think that was fair. So just keep that in mind. Some of the terrain gets bumped. I think it's just a gentleman's agreement on our part that we're not going to screw his army because we wanted to have terrain. Well, we didn't want to make his tanks basically unusable. Anyway, double times the orange tank, and the white tank moves up. It shoots and taking out more of the Avengers themselves. So it shoots both of the Avenger squads. It takes one. It kills one on the red squad, leaving one left. And it kills the other one, but both do pass morale. So that's really good that both of the Avengers do pass their morale. At this point, the jet bikes, they fly on the other side, and they hit the tank. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to break through my lines and grab that objective. So the jet bikes are rolling great this game. They do 8 wounds on the tank, but it passes its morale. The orange tank... Okay, so now it's the orange tank's turn. It double times the white tank, and then it basically charges the 3-man Avenger squad with its 6 impact hits. It kills it, and it consolidates within 3 inches of the objective to contest it. So now he's contesting that objective. He's kind of punched through. The Banshees then... I don't want those mortars to shoot. I know those mortars can't affect now, but I know that if any additional wounds could waver certain units. So my Banshees just go ahead and charge those mortars. I kill one of them, and I'm able to win combat. And the most important thing, I waver the unit. So the Banshees do their job. They waver that mortar unit. That's just a picture of the battlefield. So the heavy jet bike, both of the heavy jet bikes actually move up and they shoot the tank. They do 2 wounds into the tank, but it passes its morale, so I'm not able to break the tank. And yeah, that's kind of the end of the battlefield. We rolled it up. The tank actually just survives. Just some good rolls. We didn't take the pictures because we were wanting to kind of close up. Basically, the tank does survive the additional damage. And so it is yeah, so that's just another picture. So I grab the top left. I had that the previous round. I have the orange, and the green is contested with his tank. That's just showing that one. So yeah, it is a 2-0 victory to the High Elf fleets. It was a lot of casualties, and I would say this. I think he very well could have won this game, but he missed a lot of his blast hits. Blast, I think we talked after the battlefield, and I think with Human Defense Force, well, first of all, I'll say this. We had a blast. It was really awesome game, but let's get into some learning points. So I would say that Human Defense Force feels pretty weak. I do think that running a lot of blast in the army is a real. In his game, I think it's really powerful if you can hit those blasts. But if you don't, like in his game, he generally didn't hit well with his blast weapons. And he had battle cannons, he had mortars. He just wasn't able to hit well with them. The other thing is I don't like some of the mortars because of the indirect. We talked after the battle and we're like, yeah, probably for Human Defense Force, probably it's about bringing more volume of fire. So more autocannons, maybe some last cannons. But I think with Human Defense Force, that's probably what felt weak, is that it's a real touch and go thing to have a lot of blast on, especially on 4-ups and 5-ups. The other thing I would say is this game super heavy still feel very weak. They can easily they only have quality 4. They can easily waver after half wounds. I think luckily this game, that probably made this game more fun, is that he did pass a lot of his morales. And we're going to get into this later on, some of my critiques, but I do think that super heavies and some of these, especially which are quality, I think they do need to address those bigger super heavy tanks. They do feel weak. Like we said, blast on a 4-up or 5-up is very swingy. I think just more shots is fine. I think stealth feels balanced now. I think stealth is meant to kind of keep you. It's supposed to get your melee units into combat, and then after they're in combat, yeah, they're probably going to die more often. But that's kind of what stealth is meant to do now. It's meant to kind of protect against long-range firepower, which I think is very good. I like stealth. Even if it kind of weakens my army, I still think it's good. And it's also cheaper, too. So I think it's good on both sides. Stealth whenever it was full stealth, was pretty expensive. So I like the fact that stealth is less effective, but it's also cheaper. So so for me, just some strategic points. So I would say this: whenever you're outranged, always try to put the objectives close to each other. Condense the objectives. What you don't want to do when you're facing an army that has a lot longer range than you don't want to spread out the objectives, because then he can spread out across the battlefield, and your opponent who outranges you can grab objectives on the other side of the battlefield and still shoot at you. Try to compress the objectives. Another thing is I like the command rerolls. I think that for anyone trying to get people into 40k, offering them command points with just command rerolls is a really great. It doesn't basically break the game absolutely, right? If everyone gets the same amount of command rerolls, it's a great way to bring 40k players in who do still want some of that strategic side of things. Honestly, I just like command rerolls. I think it's a great way of balancing out some of the. In our game, we use them, and we use them strategically. I actually just like command rerolls. I think it's a great way of playing the game. Balances out some of those ups and downs. Well, thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles too. Hey, I'm always interested in feedback. We're trying to grow the channel. I'd really appreciate a like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're in Austin, Alternative Gaming Freaks, thank you so much.